Good morning. Good morning. So, wherever you may be, if you're joining us to hear about real estate, you are in the right place. This is the newest monthly webinar series entitled Let's Talk About Real Estate with Area Mays. I am Thomas Robertson, better known as Duke. I am the Technology and Matrix Director for Oak Hill Regional CDC. Before we get started, we want to recognize our board chair, Jennifer Garrett, and our Executive Director, Dr. Michael O'Miner. In addition to the Zoomcast, we are restreaming today's webinar on our Oak Hill Regional CDC Facebook page. So please feel free to share on your local social media pages. First, let's get started with introducing our host for today. This is the second episode of the Let's Talk About Real Estate with Area Mays. And so I wanted to make sure that we find out more about our host for today. So, Area Mays, real estate agent since 2007. She is a seasoned real estate agent passionate about helping others live their best lives. For the past 17 years, she has built a reputation for delivering personalized and comprehensive services in the real estate business. Whether you're looking for your dream home or investment property, she is committed to supporting your goals with expertise and care. She specializes in guiding clients through seamless home buying and selling experiences in the real estate market, from cozy starter homes to luxury properties. She provides insightful guidance, ensuring that each client's unique needs are met with integrity and professionalism while helping the family. She is particularly experienced in the Mississippi and Tennessee area and deeply understands the local market trends. Investing in real estate would greatly benefit, including creative generational wealth. When not working, she enjoys traveling, reading books, spending time with her two grandbabies, enjoying life and staying active, and spending quality time with family and friends. I have introduced you, our host for today, and I'm going to turn it over directly to her, and I will be back later on to give you any announcements. But for now, let's talk about real estate with Area Mays. Miss Area Mays.
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas, for the introductions. Thank you for you all for joining. Today, we're going to talk about real estate and how real estate benefit generational wealth. If you listen to the last webinar, I'm going to pretty much recap what we previously talked about. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask me. Uh, Real estate, as you know, is a way that everyone that purchased real estate is a way that they can generate wealth and generational wealth. We do think that every homeowner should have the opportunity to purchase a home if they qualify. But however, qualifying does require preparation, which means that getting your credit together and getting everything in order to get ready to purchase your new home. That's a very crucial part of getting ready to be a new homeowner. The market trends now is things are a little bit slower than they've been in the past few years. Interest rates is a little bit high, but we're expecting interest rates to go down soon. The Feds did drop the rates I think about in a few weeks ago, but it didn't affect the real estate market as much as we possibly wanted it to. And we think that in the future it's gonna affect it more, and we'll begin to see rates go down. It is a presidential year, so anytime there's a presidential election year, we typically see things a little bit slower for buyers and sellers. Houses are not moving as fast. Buyers are not purchasing as quickly because they want to see what the outcome is going to be. And that's typically normal. So we understand that. So with this, we just want to get you all prepared for purchasing a home, whomever wants to take advantage of the benefit of buying a new home, or not necessarily a home, a primary resident, or it can be an investment property. So that's something that we'll talk about in the future if someone just wants to purchase investment property. We do focus on primary and getting each homeowner into a house if they so desire to get into a house. Again, we mentioned about generational wealth. The benefit of owning a home is that you build in generational wealth. Once you buy your house, you know it's yours. You're able to take advantage of the equity in your home. That house can be handed down to your children's. So that's a great investment. We talked about the different kinds of loans we have. You know, you have the FHA loan, which require 3.5% down payment. There are some lenders that have some down payment assistance and things that can help new home buyers to get in the house. You got the conventional loan, which is sometimes require a little bit more down payment for a home. And then also you got the VA loan, which is a 100% loan for a veteran. I did have a guy that called me the other day who said that he's a primary homeowner, and he thought that he could get down payment assistance to buy a new house. And that I did talk and inquire with the loan officer, and she said that doesn't happen unless you've been out of that house for 3 years. So it's such a big difference in if you a primary homeowner and if you buy an investment property. So like I said, we'll talk about that in the future, so that a lot of you may be homeowners and would like to have investment property to increase your generational wealth. So if that's the case, that option is certainly available. Down payment assistance is available to new home buyers. And we talked about a little bit about the change that came into effect of August the 17th, whereas the National Association of Realtors now has changed it that some buyers may have to pay the realtor's fees. And we're not seeing that happen as much. Although that rule is into effect, we don't want that to discourage a home buyer at all. However, it would be good to be sure to have some money saved up. And regardless if you, in any circumstance, you want to have some money saved up. But we don't want that to deter if you've seen information on news for a new home buyer to buy a house, because there are lots of benefits, down payment assistance, and we are seeing that a lot of sellers are paying the real estate, the buyer's realtor commission. So we don't want that to be a deter for you all. If you're a seller, if you need CMA, and that's a comps analysis, if you need one of those, we can provide those. We are looking to the fact that after we go through the phase of, we got the October, November election, then we are expecting that a lot of houses will begin to move, and sellers will be more prepared to put more house. The inventory of houses will probably increase even more. And then hopefully at that time, new buyers will come out and want to buy more houses. So if you're selling, you're thinking about listing your house, I would not say don't list it. I think it's a great opportunity to list your house now, or if you wanted to wait just a couple of months when the market is a little bit more aggressive, then that would be good too. But we can always give you a CMA, and that's a comparable market analysis, so that you can know what your house may value and what's going on in the market. So if anyone that's looking to sell a house, be sure to give me a call about that, and I can provide you information about that. We do have a one of my colleagues on the line today that's going to tell you a little bit about the legal aspects of when you purchase a home, what's the process that you go through with the title search. And then afterwards, I do have someone that asked a question that we want to ask him a question. His name is Mike Wardlaw. He's a real estate attorney. Mike has been an attorney for a number of years. I work with him quite a bit. He's very knowledgeable of what legally, the legal aspects of what's going on in the market. I use him with my primary purchases. I also use him with my closing. He graduated from Olive Branch High School, so he's right here in the area that we're all in, and he's a people person that really likes to take care of people. So we really appreciate it. And we're going to let Mike talk a little bit and tell us about the real estate process that we go through, Mike.
Well, thanks, Ari. I appreciate the introduction. Yes, my name is Mike Wardlow. I'm with Titan Title. Been real estate attorney for 24 years now. Been doing real estate for about 26. Got two brothers that are also real estate attorneys. So we've kind of been in the business a little bit. The process, I can walk you through it real quick. It starts with the contract, starts with finding the house, being with a good agent. Area is excellent. I've worked with her for several years now, and she definitely knows what she's doing. So once you find the house you want, you make the offer. The agent is there to complete the offer, submit the offer to the seller side, and then hopefully you'll enter into a contract. Once the contract is executed by both parties, it comes to us, the title company. At that point, depending on which side we do, there are several steps that have to be followed. The first one is ordering a title search. The title search we always order through the underwriter who ultimately issues the title insurance. And I can talk about that at some time. If anybody has any questions on what title insurance is, what it does, in my opinion, it is a very vital part of the transaction. And I can list horror story after horror story that if it wasn't for title insurance, some people out there would be screwed. So once we get the title search, I've got two attorneys that work for me that one of us reviews it. So every title search is reviewed by a licensed attorney. Once the search is reviewed, then we know what steps we need to take to ensure that the buyer is getting good, clean title. If we happen to be only representing the seller, then we reach out to the seller and we let the seller know of items that we need to clear their title, such as if there's a mortgage, we need payoff information so we can order the payoff. If there's some type of liens out there, tax lien judgments or whatever, we have to get certain information from our seller to verify their identity and to see if these liens actually are them or just somebody with the same name. Because when the abstractors run a search, they run names. They don't necessarily can tie and prove every person that may or may not have a judgment. They just run the name, and what shows up is what we work on. At the same time, we work with the lender. If we're representing the buyer side, we get them what's called a title commitment, which basically says we agree to insure this title based on these factors, as long as we can do these steps. But there will be these exceptions. An exception just is something, say, restrictions due to being a homeowners association, being on the plat, certain things that affect the property, but it may semi-limit your use, but typically it's there to protect you and to protect your neighbors. And we can go into that if you ever have any questions. Once the lender's ready to close, they will send us the loan package. That is all your loan documents. That is your promissory note. That is the deed of trust that protects the lender. All their different disclosures, affidavits, different documents. We take that along with, we put together what's called a settlement statement that spells out all of the money. We as the title company typically handle all the money. You would pay the earnest money to us. We hold it until closing. The lender sends us the wire. If there's any funds that are still left needed at closing, you would send, as the buyer would send those to us. We would coordinate closing with the buyer signing docs, the seller signing docs. And then when everything is signed and everybody's happy, then we disperse the money. So we would send the seller their funds. If there's a payoff or payoffs, we would wire those funds out. We pay the agents, we pay the lenders, we pay everybody that gets paid out of that closing. We handle recording the deeds. Once the deeds are recorded, we submit the file to Fidelity, which is our underwriter. And then they issue the title insurance. So that is kind of a very quick summary from contract to title policy, that is, and everything in between. Any questions?
I have a couple of questions, Mike, or a couple of comments that I wanted to make.
Okay.
Just to let you all know that Mike is located in Germantown, and he also has an office in South Haven. And do you have another office in Bartlett, Mike?
Yes, Titan has 3 offices currently. We have one Kirby Whitten in Bartlett. We have one right in the heart of Germantown and Corporate Center. And then we have one on Getwell there in South Haven, right across from the Mesquite Chop House.
Right. So it's very convenient. So at the end, we'll give Thomas Mike's phone number. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to call him. The questions that I do have, Mike, is that, well, this is a comment. This is not a question. I had a lady that called me yesterday. She said that she had bought a house from a tax lien and that she wanted to do her own title search. So I highly recommended her to Mike, because I told her that I was a real estate agent and I can't even do a title search. Mike Nim is very equipped to take care of that. So I recommended her to Mike. So, you know, if you need a title search or something like that, you definitely don't want to think that you want to go out on a limb and do it yourself. You always want an attorney to represent you. The next question is, Mike, well, this is the question that I have. that a lady sent me, said that she had just read an article about how this woman fraudulently registered this property without a true homeowner's actually knowing. And according to the law in the state, once the fraudulent deed is registered to the legal owner has to go to court to have it reversed. Is that correct? Or what happens with that if that happens?
Typically, yes, that is correct. In Mississippi, deeds are handled or recorded by the Chancery Clerk. Tennessee, each county has what's called a register of deeds. And just like anywhere else, they have staff.
Mhm.
Staff's not perfect. If somebody walks in with the deed that is looks to be properly signed, properly notarized, properly prepared, they're going to record it. They have no way of verifying signatures. Unfortunately, there is some fraud going on out there right now. That has kind of become in the past, probably 2 years, has become a very hot topic, is where fraudsters are pretending to be owners of property and trying to sell it. And the only way to remove a fraudulent deed from title, because once it's recorded, it's public record. The only way to remove it or to cancel it is to go to court and you actually get a court order. Now, those are pretty easily done. If you have an attorney that knows what they're doing, you can do a quiet title action. You can show that it is a fraudulent deed. A lot of times you can compare signatures and you can see that it is. We had one not too long ago that we've got some parties contesting right now because there was a power of attorney that was executed that was subsequently canceled, and the termination of the power of attorney was recorded, and then 10 days later a deed of trust from the person that executed using the power of attorney was recorded. So and then the original person is claiming that is a fraudulent deed of trust, which means a fraudulent lien against the property. So they are in the process of going to litigation. It's not fair. It's can be expensive, but hopefully most of these things hopefully are related parties that there's an easier resolution. But yes, ultimately you have to go to court to strip a fraudulent deed. The court is the only one that has the authority, the power to do that.
Okay. So anyone that's buying or purchasing real estate, it's very important to have an attorney to go through the process with you. The legal aspects is very important. And also, I've had people say, should I buy title policy? I highly recommend that you do buy title policy because you don't know the history of that property. The attorney has the ability to go back and check, and they can only go back and check so far. So it gives you insurance that if you do purchase that property, you got an insurance policy on that particular lot of land or house. So it's very important that you buy things that the attorney may recommend. Okay, for the audience, do any of you have any questions for Mike?
We just had a question come up in the Q&A. Are there any special fundings for first-time home buyers?
There is some special funding for first-time home buyers. And at our next meeting, hopefully we'll have a loan officer on the phone, but yeah, there's some funding available for first-time home buyers.
There's a lot of grant programs out there right now until they run out of money that benefits first-time home buyers. A lot of them may be key to geographical areas, geographical locations, income thresholds. But yes, there are several programs out there, both Tennessee and Mississippi.
That's correct.
Another question, how do you go about buying a title policy?
All right. Title insurance, let me kind of give a little bit of real quick summary of what title insurance is. Title insurance, basically there's two types of title insurance. There's what's called a owner's title policy and a lender's title policy. The lender's title policy, just like it says, it insures the lender. It ensures that when you borrow money from a lender and they put a deed of trust on the property, that lien is typically a first mortgage on the property. There are times where a second mortgage lender will want a title policy, but usually it's the first mortgage lender. And basically, the title insurance company is ensuring that they have the right to foreclose on that property and would be able to get clean title to that property should they foreclose. The owner's policy as it stands insures the owner. So if you are buying a piece of property, or if you owned a piece of property that you inherited or something like that and decide, you want to be safe, you want a title insurance policy. The title insurance ensures you own it free and clear of liens other than liens that attach because of you. So if you have a judgment out there against you or somebody sued you 5 years ago, got a judgment, recorded the judgment, the title insurance is not going to protect against that. What it protects is if the person three sellers up the property had a judgment or a tax lien, or there was a conveyance out there to a third party that was missed and nobody knew about, it protects you to ensure you're getting good, clean title. It covers up to the policy amount, and typically what will happen if there is an issue, the title company steps in, they'll hire the attorneys. If they can clear it, they'll clear it. If they have to write a check, they write a check. If the claim is stronger and bigger than what the policy is, amount, the face policy is, then they'll write you a check and reimburse you your purchase price. To get title insurance, you have to go through a title agent, like a closing attorney, a title company like Titan Title. We are title agents for Fidelity. I have over the years been an agent for Old Republic, Stewart Title, First American Title, every major title company around. Fidelity is the one that we choose right now. We love their policies. We love their underwriting guidelines. We love their searches. We always order search through our underwriter because they're the ones that have to stand behind it. Now, some people I have asked, well, I've got a search. Why do I need a policy? Because the title insurance underwriters know the abstractors make mistakes. They're not going to stand behind just a search. They're not going to take on a $400,000 title guarantee on a $200 search. They want the title policy to be issued. So one comes with the other, but you have to have both to be fully protected. You have to have that policy. That hopefully that answers that question. And one reason I want to say it's important, I've had 2 issues here in the past 2 years where a open deed of trust actually got missed in the search. Like I say, the abstractors are not perfect. They're human beings. But this one particular got missed about 3 different times because the deed of trust originated in 2017. It got sold, it got transferred, it got foreclosed, it got sold again, and then foreclosed a second time. And then now this ultimate buyer was buying the property, and lo and behold, that 2017 deed that never got paid off, that nobody ever really dealt with, foreclosed. And so this gentleman, him and his wife, bought this $260,000 property, and from a seller who, as of a week before closing, no longer owned the property. And if that buyer would not have bought title insurance, they would have had spent all the money, all their savings, been indebted to a $260,000 loan, and be facing eviction from the property because they didn't own it. The title insurance company stepped in. They negotiated a settlement with that owed mortgage lender that never got paid off and wrote a check for $140,000 to pay them off. So everybody came out happy, except for the title insurance company, but that's the business they're in.
That was good explaining that, Mike. Thomas, do you have some more questions? Any other?
Not at this time. We'll wait for them to continue to come in.
Okay. As you all can see that Mike is very knowledgeable of real estate. You can always, if you have any questions or have real estate needs, you can always call Titan Title. Their direct phone number is 901-751-7922. And the attorney that we're talking with today is Mike Warlaw.
That is my direct number. And then the main number is 751-7910. So Be happy to answer any questions you have.
And someone asked if you could put that information in the chat for them.
Okay, let's see. Man.
Since someone did ask about down payment assistance, on our next webinar, we will have a loan officer that'll speak, that will give you much more knowledge of being prepared financially to purchase a home, the steps of what you need to do in reference to being prepared with preparing your taxes, your W-2s, your W-2 tax returns, your check stubs and things like that. She'll be able to tell you all the things that you'll need, and we'll discuss the different programs that's available for new home buyers. We know when you get ready to purchase a home, you want to prepare. And that's as well as if you want to sell a house, you want to get it prepared for putting it on the market as well. Do we have any other questions?
I have another question. If a seller requests in their sale no inspection, can you go back and do anything about that?
If a seller requests no inspection in their contract, is that what you're saying?
I'm assuming so. Yes.
Okay. I don't recommend that you take a house as is unless you're in that position that you would want to purchase a home as is. We always have in our Mississippi contracts the contingency of a buyer satisfactory home inspection. So it depends on what the circumstances are. If you're looking at purchasing a home as is, then I would accept that. But if you don't anticipate the seller making any repairs or you being able to walk away and get your earnest money back, then I would not suggest that you accept a contract where the seller said no inspections. I mean, that's a very crucial decision, because that could affect a lot. And I guess the worst case scenario is that you could lose your earnest money. But you do want the option of being able to get, or to protect, you want the option of getting your earnest money back if there is an issue with the home inspection, appraisal, or your loan. So I would not recommend accepting the contract that as is unless you're in position to do that.
Yeah, I'm not too aware of too many sellers that have ever asked that you can't inspect the property.
Right.
They'll say that they won't make any repairs. You're taking it as is, but the buyer always should retain the right to inspect the property, to view the property, and just to make sure that the property fits their needs. I had a customer that bought a house in Midtown and end up, I guess, water line busted under the house. They cut the pipe off and capped it, didn't fix it. This was an inherited property, and I guess the parents may have done that in order, was going to fix it and then died. And then the kids never knew that issues. Well, the buyers didn't have a proper inspection done, bought the property, moved in, and finds they have water issues. They can't run a washer and dryer because the lines aren't connected. Have a hot water tank not running. So always make an inspection, always put in your contract that you have the right to do an inspection. You can always waive the repairs. If you know you're getting a good deal, then it makes sense to waive the repairs.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Question. What is a strategy for setting the listing price?
The strategy for setting the listing price is that we do a CMA, as a comparable market analysis, to see what your house may value and what the house in the area has sold for. We can only go a certain radius when you're doing a comparable market analysis, because we're trying to get it to a point that it's going to be similar to what an appraisal may say the house may value. So comparable market analysis was the strategy for getting the expected value of your home. However, if you're selling your house, the buyer is going to get it appraised. And you have to pretty much go with the appraisal unless you decide that you're going to stretch out and say, no, I'm not going to accept the appraised value. Some people do that. If you're getting an FHA loan, the appraisal will stay with the property for at least 3 months. So you basically either have to do that, get the FHA loan, or get a conventional loan. But a comparable market analysis is the most suggested strategy that you would take to get the house listed at the value that you want to get it. And sometimes it's not at the value that we want. You know, sometimes we think that our house value more than the market is expecting. Just to give you an example, I had a house that I'm selling now, and the seller wanted to list it for $225, and I recommended it a little bit lower from the comps. But however, you know, as realtors, we do what the sellers ask us to do. However, the appraisal came in yesterday at 213, so you know, just a little bit less. So that's understandable that you're under, that the sellers know that sometimes the house may not value what they want or the price they want. So you just take that into consideration.
What a lot of people don't understand is that the tools that she's talking about to do the CMA, the multiple listing service, the MLS, it actually is what appraisers use as well to value properties. So your realtors, the good ones that know how to work the system, have the same tools at their fingertips that the appraisers use. And that way if they've got the experience like Area does, they know what the appraisers look at. What some people don't understand is appraisers have a lot of latitude. When they run the comps in the system, they may get 6 or 8 comps, where they only have to pick 3. And depending on the appraiser, some are better than others in that some of them will they look at your contract and they say, okay, I need to get 225. Well, let me pull this comp, this comp, this comp, and average them, and they get to the 225. There's some appraisers I have seen that have killed deals because they will pull the lowest comps, and then because they don't want their name out there on something, take a risk, somebody come back after them saying that they appraised it too high and it's not worth that. You know, those honestly need to be ran out of business because they kill more deals than they help. But the whole story, what I'm getting to is trust your agent. If they tell you the property is worth 215 or 210 and you think it's worth 250, well, they've got the tools that the appraiser's looking at. They can look at it and tell you, no, it's not worth that. Now, sometimes you can do improvements to properties and make them worth a little bit more, but most of the time, I had a deal not too long ago, the seller, I mean, it's put $50,000 over the past 15 years, paint, carpet, you know, this, that, and whatever. Well, that's all eye candy. A lot of your improvements that you put into a property, it makes it look better, makes it sell faster, but it doesn't bring more value. Comps are based on price per square foot. Sometimes you can get a little bit of an uptick if you got all granite, new appliances, everything just is immaculate. But most of the time, cosmetic is cosmetic. It helps to sell faster. You know, just like, okay, if you're sitting here at a buffet and you see a filet mignon versus a piece of hamburger, which one are you going to pick? You're going to pick the one that looks better, not necessarily the one that's more expensive, because you could have a little small filet and a huge hamburger, and you know, am I correct?
Right. You're absolutely correct.
So don't think just because you put $10,000 getting it all repainted that now your house is worth $10,000 more. That's kind of the story. Trust your agent. They know what they're doing. They have the tools to help you sell your property.
That's correct.
Those were all the questions that came in. If anyone else has any questions that's on Zoom or social media, you're more than welcome to drop them in the chat or the Q&A feature. Um, but at the end, we'll cut it off on social media, and if anyone wants to stick around and ask any questions, we'll open the mics for anybody else. Are there any closing words for you, Ms. Ari Mays or Mr. Mike Warlow?
No, we just appreciate everyone participating in the webinar today. We'll be on in about another 30 days talking about more real estate issues and things that goes on with real estate, information about real estate. And when I say issues, I don't mean issues, I mean resolving issues. So we'll be discussing at our next webinar we'll have a loan officer that'll be answering questions about the process of the loan process and down payment assistance programs that's available. Let's see if Mike has anything to say.
No, just like I say, reach out to Aria. She's a very classy lady, definitely knows what she's doing. I've seen her help many people, realize the dream of home ownership. If you're an existing homeowner, reach out to her anyway, because she can give you insights into lender programs. She can give you insights into what the market's doing. And I know she's bends over backwards to help her clients. She had one that we had to close at the house because of medical reasons. So she does what needs to be done, and she takes care of her clients. So if there's anything we can do here at Titan Title, please feel free to reach out. That's what we're here to serve. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you guys for both giving more information about the real estate world to the ones who are first time home buyers or just thinking about selling. We've definitely enjoyed. I've taken a bunch of notes on my sticky notes, and I hope to hopefully in the future get my first home, and I know who to call. Before we sign off, we want to allow you guys to give your contact information again. We'll start with Mr. Mike Wallow, and then we'll go to Ms. Aria Mays, and then we'll close today's webinar.
All right. Phone number again is 901-751-7910. That's the main number to Titan Title. You can actually get anybody at any office. That number rings everywhere, and we can transfer between office to office real easily. Email, we have a main email called orders, ORDERS, at Titan Title CO, and it's Titan like the Tennessee Titans, TITAN, title, TITLECO.com. You can email that, and they'll forward to me if you have any questions.
Okay, my name is Aria Mays, and my phone number is 901-335-9324. You can call me or text me. If for some reason that I don't answer the call, I always will reply back to a text message if I can. So feel free to call me. My email address is ariamays@aol.com. And then, of course, you can go to my website, ariamays.com. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me for any of your real estate needs, whether you're buying or selling a house. Thank you.
Thank you for that. A couple of updates before we end. The next Ask Mary and Pat webinar will be Monday, September 30th at 6 p.m. The next third Wednesday Parent Resource Chat will be Wednesday, October 16th, 2024 at 11 a.m. And that topic will be pregnancy and infant loss awareness, postpartum depression. Also, we want to remind you that open enrollment 2025 begins Friday, November 1st, 2024. You may learn more about us at www.oakhillregionalcdc.com. You can contact our office at 662-298-3584 or text us at 662-689-9712. Once again, we acknowledge our board chair, Jennifer Garrett, our executive director, Dr. Michael O'Miner, and our project director, Mrs. Lottie Miner. This has been a production of Oak Hill Regional Community Development Corporation, belonging, building, and bridging in the Mid-South region and across the state of Mississippi. And we're going to sign off for our social media, and to anyone who's on Zoom that has a question, to Mr. Mike Warlaw and Ms. Aria Mays. You're more than welcome to stay on and unmute your mic at this time.